Hi, this is the individual assessment for the subject design team management, the field study summary. My name is Shamal Ranatunga, and my ID is right there, and that's my photo. We'll go through the questions. So the question one is, what are the chosen element components and the building project, and who's the designer? And what component have I chosen. So we'll start with the project and then we'll go to the chosen component. Project name is Brinjari Road Upgrade Stage 1. It's a scope of works of that is a 5.7 kilometer road upgrade, which goes from 2 lanes to 6 lane carriageway upgrade with services and proper adjustments. I'll be focusing on the proper adjustment aspect of the project. And the prime contractor for this project is BMD Constructions Private Limited. We'll go with the chosen component. The chosen component is the brick floor footing of a house that falls under proper adjustment works. The designer of this footing was the Robert Bird Group Private Limited. Quick summary for them is they're established in 1982. And they're operated globally with 700 employees across 11 offices, established in Australia, New Zealand, UK and US. Question 2. Identify information and information sources to design the chosen element. So start with the design flow first, and then we'll go to the where the document information of the document origin. So according to what I was told, they go through 4 phases. So the first one is the site investigation phase, where they meet the client, establish the work grounds and the scope of works. Then they gather data on the same time, whatever they can get in the initial consultation. Then they go a couple of back and forth with the client representative to gather more information about the scope of works. Then they go to the design draft phase, where they use the information given by the client, put together the design that they required, and then they go back and forth to get the fine tuning sorted out. And then it's the final design submission, where after the final comments from the client, they make the final design, get approved by a senior designer, and then submit to the client. Next, the documentation and origin. In the site investigation process, most of the documentations are images, and they were taken on site using a camera, or sometimes the client provides images or other documentation to define the scope of works. Then they go to the data gathering process, where the client might provide all geotechnical information of the existing ground. In this case, the trench was already made, so they requested ground conditions of the trench, and then physical measurements of the trench, and also the height and all that of the pre-existed wall, and yeah. After that, they put them all together in the design draft process. That's just their own designs, and then they go between the client and the designer to get all the fine tuning sorted out. Question 3. Identify design or engineering skills required, engineering software platforms, and quantify days hours to design the chosen element. So we'll start with the skill required. So for this, they in the site investigation process phase, they normally go with a graduate engineer or a junior consultant and a experienced engineer to get information, so that graduate engineers get exposure, while software engineers get all the information required for the scope of works. In the draft phase, the structural engineer talks to the surveyors and the client representative to get the design going, and to get any specific client requirements, add them into it. If there's a design change while there's a condition change while the design was happening, get that those information. And then when you get the final design submission, the structural engineer sends the final submission to the senior structural engineer, or a senior what you call it, senior supervisor, sorry, to get the approval, to sign off, and then that design gets sent to the client representative. For the softwares, for communication, for internal, they use Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business with Outlook for global communication within the company. And then they use Outlook again, and Aconex and TeamBinder to communicate formally to the client outside of the office. Then for file transfers, they use Dropbox for Business for quick data transfer between internal or external. But for formal submissions, they use Aconex or Project View. For designing phases, they use AutoCAD LT for big 3D designs and multiple layer projects. Then they use 7D as like a secondary companion, and then they use Revit for 2D architectural designs. So for this project, they used Autodesk Revit. For hours and days for the final submission, they weren't able to find the build invoice, which shows the hours normally. Therefore, they gave me like a general idea. So they said about 2 days to get from the start of the project to get all the information from the client, 2 to 3 days, and then to the initial information gathering. Then they take 5-10 days to do a design of the scale, because there are a lot of variables that's in here, but it's a relatively it's a pretty small project, but it takes 5-10 days to make the design and to get client feedback. Once the client feedback comes in, they make another adjustments depending on the comments. That can take 1 to 3 days, and then once the comments are amended in the final design, that gets sent to the senior supervisor or the senior structural engineer, who takes a look at it, check everything's okay, and then do the final sign off. Depends on how busy it takes, about 2 days, and then once that complete, they send the design to the client. So to the last question is sample drawing submissions. I was unable to get a lot of designs for this because it was we weren't able to get approvals on time, and also some of the information weren't able to locate. Therefore, I have not many information, drawings and stuff. But start with the initial submission phase, investigation phase. They found these drawings where they took all the dimensions on site, took images and dimensions again for the wall above ground, so that they know what they need to accommodate for the footing. Since the trench was done previously, so they collaborated with a surveyor to get the trench dimensions for the design. You can see the RLs basically, and then this is the final design that they submitted to the client. So you can see it says BMD Group, which is the client, the house number, that was the job number, and then the footing details that they submitted. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching.